The Pleiadian Council. Shifts in perspective. Greetings, beloved ones. We are the Pleiadian Council. The energy of this channeling reveals how your world changes when you view it through the lens of perspective. The world does not change first through action, but through awareness. Every shift begins when someone learns to see things differently. Keep in mind that perspective is not passive. It is a spiritual force. It is a vision that shapes what you see, what you fear, and what you allow to exist. When perspective shifts, separation lessens. You begin to recognize that what you judge in others is often an echo of what remains unresolved within you. Through this awareness, compassion becomes less of a moral obligation and more of a natural response. You stop asking, "Who is right?" and begin to ask, "What is being revealed?" Spiritual perspective teaches that nothing appears without a purpose. Pain is not random. It is an invitation to remember your own strength and your connection to your higher self. When you observe others through this lens, you no longer seek to conquer or correct them. You instead choose to listen and observe. Listening is a sacred act that creates space for truth to emerge without force. To change the world you live in, you must first change how you see it. When your every perspective embodies your divine presence, everything begins to change. You start choosing curiosity over certainty, humility over domination, and love over the illusions of fear and control. This choice ripples outward, allowing a softened heart to change a conversation. A changed conversation alters a relationship and begins to heal the energetic environment in which that energy resides. The world heals not through grand gestures, but through quiet awakenings. Every time you choose to see with the eyes of the soul rather than the fear of the mind, you participate in elevating creation itself. In this way, perspective becomes a vehicle and, by living it, you transcend the very reality in which you resonate. We are the Pleiadian Council. It has been our honor to connect with you today. We send our undivided love and guidance to you, your world, and all its inhabitants. The February 2nd, 2026 portal, amplified by the full moon in Leo, catalyzes a powerful ascension activation for those walking the ascending path. The number 2 carries the frequency of union, harmony, intuition, and divine collaboration. It is the bridge between polarities, the meeting point between soul and self, human and higher consciousness. Doubled, this energy is amplified, opening a gateway that asks us to choose alignment over resistance and trust over control. With the full moon in Leo illuminating the heart, identity, and sovereign self-expression, this portal becomes particularly intense, activating dormant light codes around self-worth, courage, and authenticity, pushing those ascending to step fully into the visible leadership of their truth. Emotional purifications, heightened intuition, and sudden clarity are signs of recalibration, as the nervous system and energetic body adapt to a higher timeline. This is not subtle energy. It is a catalytic boost calling ascenders to embody balance, remaining boldly in their own light, integrating heart and soul, resilience and strength, into a more unified and embodied self. This energetic portal can trigger a range of physical sensations, including full body pressure, sinus discomfort, headaches, ear ringing, digestive sensitivity, and appetite fluctuations. Some may experience increased hunger or stomach upset after eating. These symptoms are common during periods of accelerated ascension, as the body adapts to higher frequencies and internal recalibration. The February 2nd, 2026 portal is a significant point within the planetary purification cycle. This alignment supports deep inner transformation, bringing the human energy field into harmony with Earth's evolving frequency. Those who have chosen the ascension path are continuing their soul's education, gaining clarity, making wiser choices, and consciously raising their awareness. This inner journey is a return to inner truth, requiring a reframing of reality and the responsible use of newly awakened inner power. The repetition of the number 2 4 times in this sequence amplifies themes of duality, balance, self-reflection, and conscious choice. It encourages questioning outdated belief systems that may have been unconsciously adopted from others. Letting go of beliefs that no longer resonate and embracing truth-based perspectives allows for authentic growth, greater awareness, and deeper self-discovery. During this phase, many may feel drawn to solitude as they integrate these insights independently. This energy illuminates hidden aspects of the self that may not have been previously recognized. True awakening and growth always begin with self-awareness. By bringing the unconscious into conscious awareness, one reclaims sovereignty over one's life and moves beyond being governed by fate or external influences. Self-love is a central pillar of ascension. It gives you the strength to step out of reaction and into conscious creation. Ascension involves shadow work, karmic purification, and the intentional co-creation of your destined life, supported by higher guidance and collective collaboration. It is a disciplined yet compassionate process of remembering who you truly are. Many ascending souls are currently shedding old paradigms, habitual patterns, and ways of living that no longer serve their highest good. This includes the dissolution of feelings of unworthiness and obsolete thought structures. As these layers dissolve, one opens to expanded consciousness, deeper self-worth, and higher knowing. Much of this purification happens at the subconscious level, which may inspire reorganizing your living space, purifying your environment, or consciously shifting energy within the body to align with these new frequencies. The chosen ones on this planet are those who have chosen themselves. They have awakened to their authentic nature and can discern truth from illusion. They are devoted to their soul's higher purpose, remaining sovereign in their light while courageously facing challenges. They offer compassion, healing, love, and understanding to others while continuing their own teachings of self-love and awareness. Lightworkers, in particular, are called to deepen their inner connection and embody their wisdom through lived experience. As more individuals turn inward for spiritual guidance, the chosen can be recognized by their high vibrational frequency, which continues to strengthen during the ascent. They naturally become beacons of light on an ascending planet. This energetic shift can create discomfort for those resonating at lower frequencies, highlighting the growing contrast between two diverging realities. For some, this cycle may feel as if external circumstances are pushing them into unknown territories. Yet, it is precisely within these unfolding experiences that your true essence is revealed. As you navigate these challenges, you access hidden reserves of strength, trust, and inner wisdom. What once seemed overwhelming begins to resolve with ease, bringing you to a stronger, more grounded, and deeply grateful version of yourself. Ascending souls on this planet are approaching a time when long-held dreams begin to materialize. This is the moment to receive and appreciate the rewards that come from the dedication, discipline, and inner work you have invested in your ascension path. A new cycle is beginning. In the coming weeks, momentum will build along your path, supported by the moving planetary energies. This is a favorable time to take decisive steps and implement the profound changes you have sensed and integrated within yourself and your life in recent months. The universe and cosmic forces are actively supporting the collective purpose of this planet. Although the journey has included challenges, uncertainty, and moments of doubt, you are now entering a phase of harvest. Welcome the blessings that are arriving, knowing they are the direct result of your love, courage, perseverance, patience, dedication, and unwavering commitment to your soul's path. In loving and devoted service to Ascension, of AscensionLightworkers, Life Tapestry Creations. A circle of interactions, beloved ones. Due to the chatter circulating in your neighborhoods and across social media, your life seems more difficult than it actually is. Not because fear and anger are present, but because they are amplified worldwide. This is not an easy time for several reasons, not the least of which is the ongoing global conversation about how terrible the world is and how it's only getting worse. This angst will be short-lived. Not because Earth inhabitants will rise up to physically eliminate those creating the current chaos, but because those creating fear are losing their power and will fade into the background as millions pick up the banner of personal freedom. As has happened many times in your Earth's history, miracles will begin to manifest. Not because those creating or expanding the miracle have unique powers, but because the 3D world you've been speaking of no longer exists. What you have hoped for eons is now coming to pass. Not in one small country or area at a time but worldwide. The statement, "I can't do this anymore," is becoming the most popular phrase globally. You are likely imagining that so-called industrialized nations will become more self-sufficient and return to ruling the world and its resources. Nothing could be further from the truth, as evidenced by the new term neighbor, which is becoming an obvious reality in parts of the United States. You likely believe being a neighbor is a wonderful thing for a small part of the United States. But this theme and related actions are spreading worldwide as an end in itself, rather than as short-term actions. Something similar has probably happened in every country of the world before, only to be forgotten or ignored once financial and emotional fears were overcome. Although current actions of caring for one another have been short-lived phases in many places worldwide, this is no longer true. In 3D, caring for one another was counterproductive because someone more powerful emotionally, physically, or economically than others was always available, only to be superseded by someone with more enviable resources. Now that the freedom to be is the key word for all transitioning, there is no need to follow anyone. This new world allows you to love your neighbor and your neighbor's neighbors because all create unique elements and are as powerful as you. The outward-focused, pyramid power model of 3D no longer exists. A circle is more indicative of what your world has become. No one is more powerful than another. And all work together to create what is important to you and anyone else who recognizes that need but is not interested in creating it. You will no longer need to search for resources for your individual needs because you will create the pieces that interest you and willingly share them with others, who will share with you the creations important to you. Even in 3D, not everyone had the same needs, despite continuing attempts by social leaders to herd us into a corral of sameness. Throughout 3D history, there have always been outsiders who either created something valued by the world or were isolated from society for their uniqueness. Today, the opposite is true. A group of you might decide the environment is your area of interest. Some might be more interested in food production, clean water, health, or communication issues. Another group will choose art. And still others will decide time travel or dimensional leaping is more interesting. None of these activities can work in isolation because, as you have demonstrated for eons, living on Earth requires certain elements to maintain your physical being, and until those elements are sustained, no one will have the capability to produce anything. This is why your new freedoms are intertwined with your neighbors and your neighbors' neighbors. Highlighting the difficult theme some of you have pondered for years. Love your neighbor and all others of Earth. Once you give yourself the freedom to be, jealousy, fear, and angst disappear or are greatly curtailed. How can you fear or be jealous of someone creating works that do not interest you? And how can you be angry with someone willing to trade their skills for yours? The 3D phrase, "I've got mine, and you have to figure out how to get yours," is no longer valid in this new world. The new phrase is, "I created this, and you created that. Let's exchange our creations so we are both fulfilled." And so it is now. And so it shall be. Amen. The Arcturian Group. World Upheaval. Dear readers, in these times of world upheaval, understand that you are not seeing the energy from the level we view it. We see the collective energy of Earth moving more and more into levels that are upsetting and dissolving the energy currently holding many established systems in place. Governments, education, medicine, law, commerce, organized religion, etc., and manifesting as forms of chaos. This is also happening on a personal level, as incoming light energy automatically dissolves pockets of density and old programming within individuals. Worldwide, people are feeling an intuitive push to stand up and claim the innate power they have always had but were told did not exist. People from all walks of life are beginning to recognize the lies and distortions underlying and continuing to support so many current laws, rules, teachings, and religious beliefs. A sense of connection to all life forms and to other human beings regardless of looks, color, gender, sexual orientation, religion, or social position is rising from the ashes of old belief systems. Many feel drawn to participate in activities that reflect unity, but have so far understood unity from a three-dimensional standpoint. Food banks, charity work, volunteering, helping the needy, etc. These activities are first steps toward an awareness of true unity as the one divine reality/God expressing as, in, and through every life form. The chaos events you are witnessing at this time and more will follow, are temporary aspects of the necessary ascension process to open the eyes of so many still hypnotized by what they see, hear, taste, touch, smell, and are told by those in positions of power. Many of your so-called leaders are unaware that they are actually catalysts for change and not the ones who will bring the new and higher ways coming. Allow the process to unfold as spiritually awakened observers. The time when you can comfort and help many to understand what is taking place in the world is near. God, the one and only reality, is self-sustaining energy, substance, reality, law. Cause and effect, completeness, wholeness, safety, protection, intelligence, etc., etc., and this is you. Not the ego-based sense of self you believe yourself to be, but the real you, God flowing the fullness of itself into expression as every person, every animal, and every divine idea visible and invisible. God's creativity is infinite. There are forms mankind has never seen or even imagined but which will be visible once mankind can align energetically with them. The real self is and always has been fully present in every person regardless of his or her present state of consciousness. A person without the God part is simply an empty vessel, dead. Evolution is nothing more than the process of getting out of your own way by permanently eliminating from consciousness all that is not of oneness and unity. There comes a point where praying to some person or thing outside of self, performing ceremonies and practices, going to church, etc., becomes obsolete and serves only to keep a person separate. Everyone at some point must believe, accept, and live from a consciousness of oneness, the fact that they are, always have been, and forever will be an expression of God, and that all else is illusion. The words and actions of those spiritually awake often stir fear-based reactions of resistance from those who feel threatened by anything that challenges their foundational belief system. In their need to keep their belief system intact, they label any person or group not in alignment with old programming as misguided, wrong, sinful, stupid, and ignorant, while lashing out with forms of scorn and anger against anyone attempting to explain a higher way of seeing. These actions reflect fear, a state of consciousness filled with beliefs of duality, separation, and many powers that harm and kill. Do not resist or attempt to change the opinions of others if you find yourself experiencing criticism or scorn for your beliefs. Your job is not to fix anyone but rather to anchor truth and light on earth. Without resistance, silently recognize their real divine nature and move on. The energy of low-resonance words or actions has no effect on reality. In the presence of light and love, low-resonance energies that are not engaged with or aligned simply flow back to the sender. Every person is able to act only from his or her highest level of awareness, state of consciousness. And unless receptive and ready, which you will intuitively know, words of truth serve only to irritate those not spiritually prepared to hear them. This is why proselytizing and missionary work are deeply three-dimensional activities. Every person evolves at their own pace, and free will allows everyone to independently decide the state of their consciousness. The increase of violence in the world is in part the result of the energetic purifications taking place. When dense energy is re-experienced by a person still in alignment with the energy moving through them, rather than allowing it to purify, some align with it, make it their own again, and act accordingly. Another cause behind so much violence today is that the self-serving activities of some governments and many in positions of power are giving those in alignment with them a sense of permission to do as they please. It is important to remember that accidents do not exist in reality. Accidents are three-dimensional concepts, manifestations of Earth's collective belief in duality, pairs of opposites, separation from God, from all others, and from your good, and many powers, subject to things over which you have no control. For example, praying for safety on the road feeds the belief that you are separate from the divine safety already fully present within you. Instead, consciously acknowledge that every driver on the road, as well as yourself, is a divine being embodying the fullness of divine safety and protection. This is how you live truth in the world while not being of it. Before incarnating, every person creates for themselves a plan/contract with lessons, experiences, necessary resolutions and completions with others, etc. Experiences for evolutionary learning. There are some on Earth who seem to have no other purpose than to make life difficult for others. This often happens with younger, less spiritually evolved souls who are not strong enough, have forgotten, or simply choose to ignore their contract once on Earth and fully aligned with the three-dimensional belief system. There are other planets that have gone through an ascension process similar to what Earth is now experiencing. Many living on these planets are serving the people of Earth with information and guidance, helping them understand what is happening and what to expect because they have been through it as well. These planets now resonate with love and oneness, just as Earth will at some point because it is reality. The collective density of Earth energy was always meant to dissolve because it has been created, and continues to be maintained by concepts and beliefs that have no divine law holding them permanently in place. It is you, the people of Earth, who are causing the disintegration of the collective density and is the reason you chose to be on Earth at this time. Do not look to guides, angels, higher dimensional beings, or some concept of God to do it, for it is only those actually on Earth who create Earth's collective consciousness, and thus only they can create a higher resonance collective that will manifest forms of truth, love, and unity rather than forms of duality, separation, and many powers. Be patient and trust that there really is a divine plan in place, a plan that cannot be stopped but can be slowed through ignorance and resistance. Darkness and separation have never been part of any divine plan because these things do not exist in omnipresent divine consciousness. They were the expressions of God eons ago, before there was dense physical form, who chose to experience what separation would be like and then found themselves increasingly locked into their own illusory creations. The game has gone on long enough. The hypnotism continues to be upheld and promoted by those who profit from mankind's ignorance of their true identity. There are ancient invisible beings attempting to keep mankind from opening to their God-ordained sovereignty because it would mean no longer having access to the energies of fear, separation, violence, war, etc., on which they feed. There are also human puppets of the invisible beings attempting to keep worldwide hypnotism and past false beliefs alive and well for personal profit, control, and power. Wake up, my dear ones. Take whatever steps you feel guided to take in order to more fully realize the glorious reality you are and always have been. You were gods, but you forgot and thus, ignorantly, gave your divinity over to the belief that you were sinners in need of salvation, limited physical bodies, subject to outside powers, beliefs, individuals, and a punishing God in the sky. Rejoice, beloved ones, for all is unfolding according to a plan constantly upheld by divine law. We are the Arcturian group.